Hi, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. I'm guessing that you probably clicked on this video because you saw the YouTube thumbnail saying that you can make this cutting board for $5.68, including materials. So we're going to cover that up front. And if you want to stick around for the lightburn tutorial, please do. Now we're going to talk about the board cost. I buy these cutting boards. They're made out of bamboo. They're 1/8 of an inch thick. They're a nice little cutting board. It's a little over 8.5 inches by almost 6 inches. And I get them for $1 a piece on dollargeneral.com. You have to buy them by the case. And sometimes, it may take a month or so for them to deliver them. But yeah, they're $1 a piece and they're worth every bit. So next, I get my shot glasses for 71 cents a piece on Amazon, and I get 24 of them for $16.99. We're making a game here, and what we're going to be doing is taking this tic-tac-toe graphic and burning it onto the cutting board. So if that's what you came here for, give me a quick like or a comment. And now we're going to move directly on to the tutorial on how to do all this in lightburn. So let's get started. We're going to start by coming up here and create a rectangle. Click on that. Going to hold down the control key, drag one out. I just set that to line for right now. We're going to put that on the 0, 0 layer. And we're going to make this, let's see, the width is 180. And I'm going to press tab, 220, and I press enter. Now if I press escape, select it, and just move it down here where I can work on it. This is going to be the outside of the cutting board, the very far edge. So this is the exact size of the cutting board. You can tell it's from China because it's in millimeters. If I switch to inches, you'll see 7.0866 by 8 point blah 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 blah. So that's why I have it in millimeters. But anyhow, this is the very edge of the cutting board. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that on a tool path. And now if you look up here in cuts and layers, you'll see that there's no output. So the tool path will not burn. And the reason that I put that there, I put it on every job. That's what I use to frame. So when I hit frame, I can get the very edge, know it's perfectly aligned. All right, now that we have that, we're going to grab another rectangle tool up here. We're going to draw our boxes. And it doesn't matter how big these boxes are right now because we're going to align them in a few minutes. Now with the box selected, I'm going to come over here and click on the array tool. And what I'm going to do is I need 9 of them, so I'm going to make 3 across on the X and 3 up on the Y and say OK. Alright, now that I have those, I'm going to select them, move them to the middle. So there we go. We have 9. It's perfectly centered. It's right by the tool path. The only thing is we need to put this on a different layer. So what I'm going to do is come down here to the bottom left corner. I'm going to click on 0, 0, the black box. And this is our layer here. For these lines, I'm going to go about 700 on the speed. And I'm gonna go 80 on the power, and that's all we need to set on this. Now if ever you need to identify a layer, you can always just up here where it says labels, you can just right click on that and it'll flash the layer. That's good when you have multiple layers going on. We're only going to have 2 layers today. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my art library, and you'll have to search out the graphics, I guess. But I've already got a bunch of graphics made. I've done this quite a few times already. I'm going to come up here to drink game, and I'm going to grab this drink 2, drag it right over here. I think I'll put that right there. Again, I'm going to hold the control key and I'm going to scale this down to about there. That snapped directly into the middle. And what I want to do is put some text under it. So I don't want it directly in the middle, but I don't want to move it with my mouse now, because if I move it with my mouse, it's not going to be exactly vertical. So I'm going to use my arrow key, and I'm just going to tap the arrow key. There's our first graphic, and we're going to call this one Take Two Shots. So I'm going to come over here to the left side toolbar and click on text, and I'm going to click right there and write take. Oh, I want to put the number 2 here. 2 shots. Now I'll grab that, bring it over into position right about there. Looks good. Again, I'm going to hold the control key, and I should have put it in the middle, but that looks about good right there. Maybe just a tiny bit more. So we've got take 2 shots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two, I'm going to click, hold, control, click again on down bottom left, 0, 1, the blue layer. And you see they turn blue. And then I'm going to come back here to cuts and layers, and I'm just going to move this toolpath down to the bottom. Okay, so now the blue layer, if I double click on that, these are going to be my graphics. My graphics and my words, I'm going to want to burn real dark. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a trick to make them even darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1,000 speed. I'm going to go 80% the glass cocktail. We'll bring this in, put it right there. Now I'm going to click down with my roller on my center mouse wheel and hold and drag the work plane over. And this is a good way to work in lightburn. Makes it easy. So I'm probably right close to the center there. I'm going to press Control. I'm going to scale this down. I want this to be real close to the edge. So I'm going to move this over. Something like that looks just about, I'm going to come down just a little more. Right there looks perfect. On this one, we're going to write sip a drink. So I'm going to click over here on the left side toolbar with my text, grab my text, click in here, type the word sip. It's already on the right layer. I'm going to put it maybe somewhere right about there. I'm going to click off it, back on the left toolbar, click the alphabet, and down here I'm going to put a drink, and I'm going to select it, and I'll use my arrow key because it's about in the right position. And I think if we get right at the end of the sip, that looks good. And maybe we should take this one and align it with that one, and that looks pretty good right there. Now we have take 2 shots, sip a drink. We only have this graphic to select. Put it on the blue down the bottom left corner, layer 0, 1, and that box is done. Now while we're here, we're gonna do more than one of these take 2 shots. So with my selector tool selected, I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to drag across this entire corner here, and I'm going to press Control Copy, and I think we'll put this one down in the bottom left corner. I'm going to click right about there and hit Control V, and then just move it down just a little bit. We have our take 2 shots. We're a third of the way there. So the next thing we're going to do is in the art library, I'm going to do take a shot this time. So I'll come up here and grab the drink vector, bring that right into the middle there. I'll press Control and I'll scale this down. And I think I want this one to be little bigger, as much as we can fit in here. So I'll press Control again, shrink it just a little bit more, and move it over a bit. And I think that looks pretty good right there. So while we're at it, we're going to assign this one bottom left on the blue layer. And we're going to write take a shot this time. So I'm going to grab my text tool, left side toolbar. I'm going to click right about here. And I'm going to write T. And then A. And then K. And E, and I think I'll put the A right here, and then put shot down here. Alright, so I'm going to take and move the shot over like so. I'm going to click and drag over these. So let's see if we can just get on this. There we go. And then up on the top right, we're going to align these vertically. Now they're perfectly vertically aligned. And maybe I'll move them over just a bit. Right about there looks good. The shot, I'm going to move down so that it matches with the others on the line. I'm thinking that looks pretty good right there. And the A, I'm just going to move over just a tiny bit. So that one's done. Now we're going to put another take a shot over here. So we're going to do the same process that we did before. Let's go way up here. Start up here. All right, there we go. I'm going to hit Control Copy. And I'm going to come down here to the middle of this square and hit Control V, and it should theoretically be in the same spot. It's slightly off. I'll move it over just a bit. Let's see, next we're gonna do everyone drinks on the next one. I have the everyone graphic right here. I'll bring that in from my arts library. I'll control and scale, and we want to get most of these guys in, and that looks about good. We want them to be as big as possible. So there we go, and still get our text underneath. Now what we're going to do is come back to our text tool, click in here, and type everyone drinks. We're going to select it. We're going to move it over to here. I'm going to line up the left side about where I want it, and then in the middle here I'm going to click and drag this. I'm going to shrink this horizontally like so, and there we go. We can just move this over just a hair, and this one's going to be a little bit smaller because it's a lot more words. Then we'll click on the graphic. We'll come down here to the 0-1 layer, click on that. The next one I'm going to do is take a break. So we'll grab this triangle over here, drop it there. Again, Control, Scale. Oh, but there is one thing that I can't do with this. This has the words in it already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup these up here, the little single man. And now I can click and drag across here and delete this stuff. There we go. Now I'm going to click and drag one more time, and I'm going to, right next to the single man as a group of people, we're going to say group, and we're going to bring this back over here where we need it. Now we're good. Just shrink it just a bit. We want to be about the same level as that one, and let's put that, go ahead and put that on the blue layer. And that looks about right. And we're going to type in here, take a break. Take a break. And we're going to, well, we could just press escape twice, and that'll get us to our move handles. And I think that looks pretty good right there. All right, at this point we have two more squares left. We're going to put take a shot, I think, in this one. So we're going to come over here, grab all of this, Control and copy. Come down here right in the middle, Control V. That looks about right. Right about there. That's perfect. Okay. So now the last box, the last and final box is sip a drink again. We're going to do one more sip. So we'll Control copy that. Control C. I keep saying Control copy. Control V. Oops, I moved my mouse. That's okay. And this should snap right in right there. There we have it. This outer edge is the edge of the cutting board. And this is all of our graphics here. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put a little heading on here. So I'll click the text. I'll put it here, and we'll do tick tack toe, like so. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a stencil on this, so I'm going to put a space in between all of these, because the military stencil, when the military does stencils, they always put a space in between, so it's going to look like a military stencil. Alright, so we'll grab this and we'll bring it out here and just scale it up just a little bit. We're going to come up here to the fonts. There it is right there in front of me. Alright, so there we have a military looking stencil. We're just going to scale this up a little bit, and then we're going to move it and around here. Control, select the outside, and I'm going to come up here to the top, and we're going to align this vertically. It'll be perfectly in the middle. And there we go. And then at the bottom, I think I want to put the drinking game. We'll go ahead and grab that one. Bring this one in. And get it about in the middle there. Control, click the outer border. And again, we'll just align it with the software. And there we go. Now I'm going to go and burn this. Let me just go back and check my cuts and layers. And we should do a preview, so absolutely we're going to preview that. It looks good. 4 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, that's a long time. I have some slow speeds on this one. And that's the way I want it to burn, from left to right, bottom to top. That looks good. And you can change the speed of this burn by putting these are line art graphics. So you can put these in line mode. All of these graphics that are on here, they're all vector graphics. They're all line drawings. So you could put it in line mode, but it's gonna be really thin lines. And you see, like this one right here. This one here has got so many tiny little lines in here. It's gonna just shake your machine around. You know, it's gonna be moving so much. You know, that's why I put it in the fill mode, because with the fill mode, there's a lot less travel. So if I were to take this and put it into line mode, let's just take a quick look and see. 2143. See the difference in time? We go into fill mode and we're at 4 hours and 10 minutes. So that's you know, that's the difference. But the real key difference is that it's going to burn very lightly and very thinly, and I want this to overburn. So, and I'm going to show you a trick at the end of the video on how to process this afterward, where if you process this and you had it in line mode, the graphics and the text, line mode's perfect for the outline, but not for the graphics and the text. I'm going to show you a little trick how to process this and make it look absolutely much nicer. Yeah, it's going to take a lot longer, but let me tell you, the return is going to be much greater. And one thing that I probably did forget is I want to make an outside border. So we have 180 by 220 is the actual size of my frame, my toolpath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another square. I'm going to press shift and drag it out. It's unlocked. So we're going to do 178, hit tab, 219, press enter, and we're going to assign this to the 00 layer and move it right over until it snaps in here, right there. So now if we zoom way in here, you're going to see that we have it right at the edge of the board is where the line is going to be, and that's going to look nice. Now you can see the reason for the toolpath. So with the toolpath, I'm going to do my framing with the toolpath that will be right dead on the edge of the board. And this will put a nice outline on it, and we'll take a look at the preview again, and that's makes a big difference having that outline on there. I almost forgot about that. So I'm going to say okay. I'm going to check my settings again. Everything looks good, and we're ready to go. I'm going to go burn this, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so here's my magic trick. It's water. Yep, take a little sprinkle of water, cover the entire cutting board with it. Make sure you get it good and wet. Don't touch anything, and don't spray the water on or anything like that. You have to do it very lightly. Oh, and by the way, the light burn estimate was off, I'm gonna say by more than 2 hours. It took about 2 hours and 5 minutes for this to burn.